Infernal Shrines is our second map, and we have G2 Esports with the first pick, first ban, and they ban out Muradin immediately. So they are currently down one game in the best of 3 series. NaVi could now ban Tyrande or Kalthas. It's kind of likely that they do that if they want to deny to their opponent, especially when we're talking about Tyrande. She's probably one of the most banned out heroes these days just because she is so unbelievably versatile. I mean, you can play the hero as a solo healer, you can play her in double support combos, and she is just so absolutely amazing for just lockdown compositions in general. But Kalthas is another big deal. Infernal Shrines is also a very different map. Like in Infernal Shrines, you see a lot of teams play with an Abathar or even with the Lost Vikings, so those are really high priority picks for a lot of teams as well, or at least bans. But as expected, the ban on Tyrande for NaVi, G2 Esports could go into a Kalthas, or they could go into that ETC or Uther. Like, those are probably the 3 heroes that teams at the beginning of a draft are mostly looking towards. But still, there is a chance, even though it's a small one, that G2 Esports values one of those experienced heroes highly enough to go for an immediate first pick. But I would assume that we are going to see either that ETC or Uther, and there is ETC, or it could have been that Kalthas. So NaVi has a couple of options how they can start in the draft. They can either make sure that they are starting with that Kalthas, which I personally think that they will definitely do. Besides that, there's of course the opportunity to go into an Uther, but they could also just simply say, hey, listen guys, we're going to ban out Uther later on. We don't really need him at this point, so we're going to focus on something completely different. So they could take a Falstad here again if they really feel that Falstad on Infernal Shrines is strong enough for this. I personally really like the hero quite a bit. Kalthas was a no-brainer. There we have him, and it's only the question, is it going to be an Uther? Nope, it is as predicted, the Falstad. NaVi making me look good. I like it. G2 Esports, they can now go into Uther though. So that's the risk that you run when you don't choose the Uther and pick him away from ETC. That your opponent goes into that Divine Shield mosh pit. It's something that NaVi is fully aware of, but they're just saying, hey, well, even if you get that, we can dodge the mosh pit. It's going to be fine. But Kalthas and Falstad are just so strong that we really want to have these heroes here. So if you go into that combo, there's a lot that G2 Esports can do now. And first of all, they go into a Tassadar, which also allows them, again, to go into a melee assassin or Sonya. If you go into, like, they could have gone some completely different way. Now, I want to iterate you quickly, even though I don't think they're going to do it at this point. They could have gone into a Tassadar into an Uther and the Divine Shield mosh pit, and then combo that off even with the Zagara. We've seen Team Liquid do that a couple of times, and it is absolutely out of this world how much crowd control you can get into a fight when you start with the Divine Shield mosh pit. Zagara maws the mosh pitted heroes after the mosh pit is nearly over. ETC gets his cooldown back for the power slide, slides through the heroes that are trapped in the maw, and then it's just like damage the entire time. It's absolutely incredible. If you can pull that combo off, then you can drop an opponent's entire team if you're lucky. But now, G2 Esports, they decided to go a bit of a different path. And with that, they have now even a Sylvanas added. So that is an interesting choice, because that Sylvanas is something that G2 Esports has kind of played on every single time that I see them play Infernal Shrines, they go for Sylvanas. It's interesting because they pick it this early. I totally expected them to use the hero if they get an opportunity, but the priority that they put on Sylvanas is very, very cool to see. It just shows that NaVi would have maybe even banned her out. The whole thought process of this is that it helps you with taking the minions and the objective, but it's extremely strong when you actually get the Punisher and can push in with the Punisher, disable the structures, and that's something that G2 Esports has been trying to do over and over again in previous tournaments. So it's a pretty cool setup here for them already, but of course there were a few heroes that they completely neglected to get that combo. NaVi can now ban a hero out. They could ban Sonya, unless of course they are going to try into a Sonya as well. Maybe they just wait for G2 Esports to ban her out or let her go through so that they can take her. If they don't ban the Sonya, then they have to still think about that Uther. Tyrael is also a great hero that can combo off with ETC quite nicely thanks to that sanctification, so they ban him out for now. He would also add additional sustain to the team thanks to his shield, and something that they're trying to dodge. So G2 Esports have now the choice to ban out Uther, to ban out Sonya. There's a couple of heroes actually that can ban out at this point. Those two that I mentioned, probably the high priority ones. And yeah, I'm a little bit curious to see what they are going for. They ban out the Sonya. All right, they ban out Sonya. NaVi with the opportunity to go for Uther, which they probably should do since, I mean, G2 Esports was okay to pick Tacita and Sylvanas first, but given the chance, I'm pretty certain that they would still head straight into the Uther if the opportunity arises. So NaVi takes it away as expected. They still need a front line, and on this map you can play Johanna. On a lot of servers, she is not as powerful or not chosen as often anymore as in the past. I kind of expect GG Esports to think about that Arthas again, by the way. I'm not really sure if NaVi would be willing to commit to an Arthas. He can be quite nice on this map because he can fight on those shrines and still drop a lot of damage onto those minions. But it feels like going for a hero like Johanna would be nice. Oh, but it's a Thrall first. They banned him out in the last game. One of the heroes that really benefited a lot from those scaling changes. Thrall Green Jesus. He is in play with the Uther to help him out here. I like that. I like it a lot. And G2 Esports might have even thought about playing him themselves. I mean, we saw that target ban against them in the first game when NaVi banned Thrall out, as they saw an opportunity for G2 Esports to use him with that Tacita. So G2 Esports, first of all, should probably drop, I'd say, a Brightwing in this case, but you can play Charism or Brightwing, but they still need something to add a bit more damage to the table, if you ask me. You can play Tacita, of course, also solo, but against the setup that we're seeing from NaVi now, I would be bit concerned playing a playing a Tacita as the only support for the team. His Kala's Embrace can be quite powerful, but there should be a bit more than that. So for now, they have to really answer that question for themselves, who they want to use at that as for that additional damage. They could go into that Arthas, helps him a lot with that extra damage, and also, of course, they would have another frontliner, but they also need a range damage dealer, and there is Vala for them over the potential Reyna, and yeah, I guess that's it. Reyna and Vala would have probably been the two choices. Vala is getting a lot more popular these days, and with Sylvanas plus Vala and Tacita, you are in a decent spot. This allows you to go into another frontliner and drop the second support if you want, but you can still play. So at this point, they can either go into support or into a frontliner, one of the two. Tacita, like if Vala, for example, plays a full arrow build, she has some self-sustain thanks to that. Sylvanas has the opportunity to. We have Tacita with the shields, etc., with the groupies that he can go for, and the proc rock, but they decide to still play that with a charism, and that, of course, gives them even more the sustain. Makes also that front line a little bit, I mean, etc. is a bit squishy compared to a double warrior setup or other warriors. NaVi still need one as well, and there's the Johanna that we kind of expected Alex to go for as a solo tanking mix. Perfect sense to go for Johanna in this case. But yeah, the setup for NaVi is powerful, very powerful. I like that draft a lot. G2 Esports, it's definitely a lineup that can win, no doubts about that, but it's one where you have to really lock down everything perfectly or you are going to run into trouble. If they are able to disable that Thrall, then they have a good chance here, but keep in mind that they are not really relying on too much stun. The only control spells during the game that they have are on ETC, at least when it comes to direct stun. Sylvanas has a silence, and that's already about it. If Vala doesn't go into the Reign of Vengeance, then they're really going to lack hard lockdown, and that's an issue. So NaVi, already in the lead in the best of 3 series, they have a pretty good opportunity to take this game now. But we're going to find out together. We're going to jump into Infernal Shrines, and let's find out if NaVi can win the series with a 2-0 or if G2 Esports ties it up and brings it to a third game. Alright. Alrighty. Let's check that out. Pretty solid setup, pretty good one. I like Navi's chances here a lot, to be honest. I'm a little bit disappointed that we didn't really see like Vikings again, because they're really powerful in this map and also taken a lot, but it's understandable. The way that the draft went, it made for full sense to go for that. Alex the Pro G, even in Twitch chat. The Thrall hype is real. Thrall hype is real. Yeah. It's a cool hero. Thrall is a very cool hero. Alright, so looks like we are ready to go. This time a bit faster than before. Yeah, I guess let's get the show on the road and see what the teams can do here. I'm very curious to see how NaVi is going to play this right now, and especially how G2 Esports is going to react to that, if they're able to turn things around or not. But yeah, as is, let's jump straight into the game because the show is about to start and we have our loading screen, so time to rock and roll, ladies. Yeah, that didn't work out perfectly, but here we go. Good enough. Game on, ladies and gentlemen. Map number 2 in the best of 3 series is Infernal Shrines. The Heroes Battle Arena powered by Twitch and G2A, and we have to the left side of the map Gamers 2, aka G2 Esports. They rebranded it a bit. We have Leo from Poland on Karazim. Nika is playing Tasada. Shihu on ETC. Bashek on Sylvanas. And Juve on Vala. They're down one map in the best of 3 series, so they have to be a bit careful here. NaVi with their new tryouts is playing to the right side with Eternal on Thrall. We have Zarmany on Falstad, Alex the Pro G on Johanna, Garampakete on Uther, and Crosby is playing Kelthas. The setup that they used in the last map was extremely successful for them, and they are playing it with 2 seasoned marksmen already in this case, one on Thrall and the other one on Falstad. It's actually kind of funny to see that we have a lot of Thralls going into very different builds. We see the hero a bit more often these days, and it's pretty damn cool to see something like this. So right now we have already the push at the bot lane, and they are not even satisfied with only dropping one of the towers. They want to go for 2, and at the top lane we see very much the same thing. They're just saying, like, who wants to fight here? Screw that, we're going for structures all day long now, and that's what's happening as we speak. Besides that, we have on level 1 Lost Soul taken for Sylvanas, so the reduction on the cooldown. And that, of course, combos extremely well with the level 16 talent in particular. They are already threatening to rush in here. Oh, nice! Barshek playing this very, very safe, dodging not only the Wolf, but also then the Gravity Lapse afterwards. Pretty well played here by him. But yeah, it's really a setup that shines in the late game when we're talking about NaVi. I mean, if you are running a double season marksman and in the later stage of the game, you are absolutely wrecking face. It's so much damage that you can push out, and both of these heroes, of course, can rely on, well, Giant Killer on level 13 if they really want to. So it's pretty cool to see that. We have, at the same time, just teams rotating. And if you go for such a rotation game, then one of the main reasons to do that is that you are trying to get as many seasoned markman stacks for one of the heroes as you possibly can. So you rotate from lane to lane. It also, of course, gives you strength in numbers, since you are always with 4 heroes on the map, and you might even be able to pick out a hero that, yeah, well, kind of got lost on the map somewhere. Nice zoning ability, by the way, by Alex. He just moves in. He's like, oh, wait a second, I'm Johanna. I'm invincible. Let's just move in and make sure that these guys are not going to arrive on lane fast enough. So yeah, that was a pretty cool move. While this is happening, we have at the top lane the battle between ETC and Falstad, Zarmany versus Shihu. And now with level 4 already a couple of changes, especially with that level 4 talent, the Spirit Journey. So the wolves travel a lot faster. Oh, ETC! He is in a lot of trouble here. And, well, that means in this point that he's also dying. They went for the temple or for the shrine, and ETC was a bit too early. Ran straight into that 4-man squad. Falstad is now flying in too. We have Laws of Hope for Johanna for the extra sustain in the battles here. And, of course, Tasada went straight into those shield talents regardless. Multi-shot build for Vala, and that helps for the extra poke. If you have Arsenal and Composite Arrow, then you can really dish out a lot of damage to your opponent's team, and at the same time drop the minions on the shrines as well. So Zarmany is still sitting there. Comes down to the blue team with a better lead in minions. So they're actually doing quite well here. Despite the fact that they lost ETC early, they have a lot of AoE damage with their heroes, and they are putting it to good use. I don't really feel that NaVi is going to be too worried about it, because level 1 or the first Punisher is not really too strong. It's a Mortar Punisher in this case as well, so I think it's going to be pretty easy for NaVi to burst this one down, and they are going to try to do exactly that. They already lure him in. And Master Baiters here on the side of Team NaVi, they're doing that exceptionally well. They had a lot of training. And down to the bot lane. Oh, we have in the meantime Eternal currently just like trying to push against Shihu, securing himself a few more season marksman stacks. The wall has fallen, but that's already about it. I mean, he lost the 2 towers. It's still even experience for the 2 teams, so it's all good. Up at the top, we are seeing Zarmany against Juve this time. But both of the teams just aiming for the level 7. And actually claiming a few of the camps now on the map too. So trying to make sure that they have a bit of power there. Level 10s, of course, are going to be incredibly powerful and important. It's one of these things where a good mosh pit can decide the game, and the same is also true. Like if you look at Sundering and also the Blessed Shield, if you have all these stuns coming in, a good Mighty Gust, for example, is so strong. And when we're talking about Thrall in general, having that Divine Shield is just something that is such a great tool to have. Because, well, Thrall, he wants to go ham, he wants to build up some momentum, and the few things that really are bad against that, stuns are really annoying, and of course, if you feel that you can't go deep because you're taken out, then you are also in a bit of a tricky position as Thrall, but you want to build up the momentum and want to go full Green Jesus mode and move in and take them down, and that's what we are going to see once the Divine Shield is ready, because then Uther is going to have a much easier time keeping him alive here. So we already have the level 7 talents in play, and with Tassadar, it's no surprise to see Karla's Embrace taken on level 7 now. We're also seeing at this point just Keep Rockin' taken. We have on level 7 Wind Cheer, which is pretty much the talent most Thrall players still go for. I've been mentioning earlier that if you are talking Thrall, that a lot of teams experiment with different builds these days. The Chain Lightning build, for example, is incredibly popular, especially when you look towards the Chinese server. It's the most popular build on Thrall right now over there. But we have for most of these guys still Wind Cheer taken as a level 7 talent, and it's one of those things that is very, very powerful for him. And when we're talking about Thrall gaining momentum and going ham, this is of course one of the talents that we really talk about. The top shrine is active, and we're having a head start for Navi. They're already moving in, so this is looking pretty decent for them, making sure that they are getting quite a start into this when it comes to the minion numbers. Once more, of course, G2 Esports is rotating over as well, and there we go. We have ETC at the front line. Johanna moves in, though, sucking everybody into the Condemn. And we have, oh yeah, nice gravity lapse there, but hitting Karazhan very late. Great positioning, by the way, for the healing ward. Allows Nika and everybody else to move back into the healing circle. Navi had to back off. They're going for well before they move in again. They have a very decent number of minions already. They're looking at 24 at this point. But they should still try and go into, maybe drop a hero and win that fight. Of course, as we said before, the mid and late game is where they are going to be the strongest, but right now they may need to make sure they don't fall behind too far. Shiku jumped in, but only stunned out Zarmony in this case. We still have nearly even minion counts. Good Wolf for Thrall rushes that in to lock down Shiku, but we have the heals everywhere, and Karazhan is always the thick of things, trying to heal his team out. Oh, good Storm here. The AoE is really screwing with Navi, but the Arcane Punisher has been claimed by Navi now, and they lose Kel'Thas. It's still a decent trade though, and they could get a kill here if they are careful. I mean, Shihu and Bashik are both rather low. Nice Condemn again. Oh, the power slide coming off cooldown in the last second. Eternal and Bashik nearly going toe-to-toe here, but Sylvanas is able to escape. It's of course always a menace to go up against these Arcane Punishers. Arcane Sentries. Nice kill against Sylvanas. Oh, but Alex needs to move back. Yeah, if you go up against Arcane Sentries, then you have to be careful. They're the reason of many hardcore deaths in Diablo 3. And in Heroes of the Storm, they're also starting to take their toll here. It's one of the strongest Punisher for sure that you can get. We have now the level 10s ready, and that means Sundering, we have Mighty Gust, Blessed Shield, Divine Shield, and Phoenix taken. So pretty cool talents here on the side of Navi, and the talents that we expected. No big surprises yet either when we're looking at the heroic abilities for the opponent's team. The Polish team with the Mosh Pit, with the Wailing Arrow, with Divine Palm, Strafe also used. That of course means that's even less lockdown. You rarely see Rain of Vengeance on Vala these days, but it would have been one of the talents that they can use. Leo, can he dash away? They lock him down way too hard. Good gravity lapse, not allowing him to jump to Vala. She was ready. Here comes the Sundering, and they're trying to go for Bashik, and they might get him. Alex is moving in, but the shield of Nika is keeping Sylvana safe for now. Once again, Navi is starting with a bit of a killing spree here. 3 kills against 1, and they are looking extremely strong here. Again, keep in mind that their strength lies in the late game. The longer the game lasts, the stronger the heroes become when it comes to the damage output, thanks to Seasoned Marksman, so that's one of the really important things to note here. We have down to the bot lane, a bit of a pressure play against Alex. Looking at damage in particular, we have 18,000 already on Falstad, and that is, well, pretty early in the game still. Vala on 19,000, when it comes to healing power, 17,000 on Uther, and Karazhan with 21,000. If you play a very melee-heavy setup and Karazhan can always just like jump in, then of course he gets the most healing numbers out. But even in this game, it's pretty decent, and one of the main reasons is that of course a lot of these fights are just concentrated on those objective spots, and that allows him to just get the most out of his healing abilities. So for now, we have another shrine activated, and that's already the attempt to get a few of these minions. Alex moved in, but Shiru tries to go for him. Eternal with a chain lightning. In comes Falls, that nice force wall. Really decent use here, and a significant lead for GT Esports when it comes to the numbers. The healing ward once again in a great position in the backline to help them keeping everybody alive. Nobody goes in to take it down. There's the kill against it. Sundering being used. The Wolf, and they go for Bala. They don't get the kill though. And we saw also Mighty Gust use to just push them away again. They have to reposition themselves now, and that is quite some time that NaVi had to go for the objective again and secure themselves a few minions. But GT Esports is of course trying to go for the Punisher now. They're starting to move in again. Here comes the Force Wall once more. Those 12-second cooldowns are amazing for these prolonged fights, and especially on the Inferno Shrines. We have very long battles for the objective. Alex flanking with a good condemn and used his Blast Shield too. Here comes that mosh pit. Interrupt is ready though, and Eternal is silenced, but he moves away. The problem is that Alex is taking a lot of damage on Johanna. Alex down, and that was a great kill for G2 Esports. And it will also allow them to get the Punisher. It's a frozen Punisher that they control now. And this is actually really nice now. So we have level 12 versus level 12. Level 13 talents for NaVi are going to be ready very soon, but as of yet they're not. To the top lane, we have a camp still pushing. As a fort that has been taken down already earlier, but right now, of course, somebody has to react, and Juve is the one that they sent back to deal with those shamans. But it also means that at the bot lane, they are only relying on 4 heroes, but that, for now, at least is more than enough. Looks like this one is going down. The whole idea of running that Sylvanas, or at least a big part of the reason, is that you are trying to get more out of your Punishers. You get more bang for your buck, and that's exactly what they're doing here. They disable the towers, and then the Punisher can go ham for much longer. Already, 2 of the heroes pushed back and slowed. They're going for Leo, but they won't be able to lock him down. Zarmany, on the other hand, he's in trouble and overextended here quite a bit. Down he goes. He thought he was safe, but he was not. The Punisher is still alive, by the way. Great blessed shield from Alex, but Eternal is now also isolated, and that's another kill for G2 Esports. And that Punisher is going through the first tower and is now attacking the rest as well, even jumping the heroes as we speak. G2 Esports with some very cool moves. And Falstad just getting a bit too greedy in that last encounter there. He moved in very, very deep, used his barrel roll to get into a decent position, and then when he got attacked, he had no escape left to move away. Level 13 talents now with the Grace of Air. We have a Giant Killer indeed, but it's only on Falstad with a Hold Your Ground taken. So at this case, you get a bit more out of your trade, having the Shrink Ray. And of course with Kel'Thas, he has now also the Chain Bombs. And Kel'Thas is going to become stronger and stronger as the game progresses. He's going to be much safer once he hits level 16 thanks to the Arcane Barrier. And the damage output that he had at this point is also a lot better. We also have at the same time now, well, Relentless taken, Prescience, we're seeing Groupies, Overwhelming Affliction, and the Frost Shot as the level 13 talents for GT Esports. In a very solid position here, actually. So right now, with GT Esports, they are in a really good spot, but they still have to be extremely careful, because that NaVi lineup is, as I've been mentioning many times now, going to become stronger towards the late game. Crosby on his Kel'Thas is going to be very safe and can dish out a lot of damage. Season Markman stacks are going to really come into play once we have like the 20-minute mark. So right now, as long as they don't fall behind too much, they're still going to be alright. And in those battles that we see for the Punisher, we're of course going to see the Chain Bomb now do a lot of damage. So that's a few of the things that you really need to keep in your mind if you're talking about this. The big problem for NaVi could be that additional Punishers with the assistance of Sylvanas could do even more damage, and that would be a disaster for them. Falstad has to fly around, is just trying to soak a few of those stacks. He doesn't know where the opponent is, so he's playing this actually like very, very careful. Not moving in at all. Crosby is now with him though, so they realize, well, they're up at the top lane. They have the vision for now. And G2 Esports, they want to get level 16 so that they can use that extra talent for the fight at the shrine to the top, and they get it. But that allows now their opponents to move into the mid lane and the bot lane. So it's 2 lanes that are being pushed, and the reaction of G2 Esports is like, well guys, if you want to destroy a few forts, be our guest. We will simply take your keep. And that's now something that, of course, NaVi has to react to. I really, really like this move by G2 Esports. It's brilliant. They force a few of the heroes back. The bottom fort has been destroyed by Zarmany, though, and in the mid lane we had some very nice pressure against the, at least, well, the fort not so much, but at least the wall. So for now, it's level 16 versus 16, and they're starting to rotate to the top. Pretty cool development, I like it. We have on level 16 now the Tempest Fury. We also have Arcane Barrier and Benediction. We have at the same time Speed Metal for ETC for his positioning. And we're seeing the second strike now also used for Tacita. A bit more extra damage for them. Circle of Life. AoE is super important on this map. It's one of the reasons why we have these talents taken now. And this is such an important battle now. Both of them on the same talent. And they're starting to move in. Shiku up at the top here. They're already starting to go for him. He's the only frontliner. He's one of the priority targets for sure at this point. Bashek is trying to put some extra damage on Zarmany in particular. Heroic abilities have not been used yet except for the Force Wall. And that doesn't really count. 12-second cooldown is absolutely nothing. Minion count is fairly the same. Nobody really committing to the fight just yet. Everybody just poking a bit from a distance, trying to get an advantageous position so they can move in. Here on the other hand comes the Phoenix, and that's going to be a strong one. Shihu moves out of it. Mighty Gust used to give also Eternal some room to breathe. They have a lot of the heroics already used, the Blessed Shield being one of them. Shihu is still looking for an opportunity to use his Mosh Pit. Zarmany at the front, dodging that Wailing Arrow. Bashek was trying to go for a kill. Sundering is being used, and they condemn. Nice move on Karazim, securing ETC. He doesn't go down. The Divine Shield, on the other hand, for Zarmany is keeping him alive. He dashes away in the last second. ETC using the Mosh Pit. Bashek is nearly dead. Falsa was trying to go for her. The Punisher taken by the red team. It's NaVi who controls it. Shiku moves back again, and everybody is just chasing G2 Esports now. Once more, Leo is in a bit of trouble, and this time he's not going to get away, or is he? No, he's not. Karazim is dead. He did a great job keeping his teammates alive, especially ETC, who is saved with the Divine Palm. And now they're going in again with Juve already in trouble. The Punisher really wants him. Yeah, well, these Demon Hunters, Punishers, they know exactly what they have to focus first. Level 17 versus 17, and this could be the first keep in the game. It should be the first keep in the game. I mean, they're going ham on it now, and they will drop it for sure. 5 kills against 4. Great play here by NaVi. Eternal, oh my god, just barely surviving here. It looked for a second like he would die, but then Uther had his cooldowns ready again and could keep him alive. The damage output. Falstad with 31,000, but just look at Thrall. He's at 37,000 damage by now, and he is leading the charts with that. Of course, Kalthas has picked up quite a bit of damage as well, thanks to those chain bombs. With 34,000, he's looking very solid. His siege damage output is at 113,000, and therefore he's one of the biggest assets now for NaVi. When we're looking at G2 Esports, it's actually still very much the same picture that we've seen before. We have Vala and Sylvanas as the main damage dealers, but Kalthas, well, Tacita actually, is not too far behind. If you think about his damage and also his heals, he's just such a versatile hero. 32,000 heals thanks to the shields and the healing ward. He still has 27,000 damage, and we are seeing him with 80,000 siege damage. So he's a jack of all trades, and he is very, very good at that. Right now, we have a bit of power play in the mid lane. It's still level 18 versus 18, so even though these fights went pretty well for NaVi and they destroyed the top keep, it's still nearly the same experience, and it's not like they're massively ahead or anything. They have a slight lead, but that's already about it. A single team fight can change that. And a bit of poke now happening against the fort. Shiku and his boys are going to take this one out for sure. But, yep, there it is. Taken down. But we still see down here Eternal going straight for a few additional minion kills. And we are currently 17 minutes into the game. Up to the top lane. There's a great camp that has been taken earlier. And of course there needs to be a reaction. G2 sends 2 of the heroes up to the top to take that down. But we have another shrine ready. And no matter who takes this shrine, if you are able to push with 4 or 5 heroes, once that the Punisher is on the map, you're going to take a keep. And both teams know that. You can't even do more than that, but who's going to get it? This is going to be an incredibly important one that's going to be taken here. ETC needs to be super careful right now. He can't die. Not early. He's the only tank. He gets the shields from Tacita the entire time. And both of the teams are starting to jump in. NaVi with a bit of a better position. They get a slight lead in minions. 19 versus 18 the levels now. Once more, both of them starting to move in. Down here we already have, Falstad moving away. Not really too impressed by the Tacita force wall. They're going for Shiku though. He slides away. Damage everywhere. Crosby with all those chain bombs right now. And the Phoenix. He's doing so much work here for the team. It's beautiful. Up into the top. Shiku Jiku is in a bit of trouble, but we have 28 of the minions already taken by NaVi. They're in a very good position here, and ETC is now moving back after he welled up in the mid lane. He needs that mana, he needs those hit points. He's starting to go in. Where is that mosh pit? He can't go for it. He's lifted into the air, and they burst him down, or they try to, but the Divine Palm is saving him once again. The Punisher is claimed, ETC is down, and it's going to be another move on the side of NaVi. Great Divine Shield, Grand Paquette. The reaction here. Zarmani dashes away, would have died to the poison, but Grand Paquette is ready with the Divine Shield and makes sure that he doesn't. Now they are locking down Leo. They really want the kill against him, and they get it. It's a double kill. The top lane has been pressured by the catapults, and G2 Esports is trying to defend here. But now we have level 20s, the Storm Talons ready for NaVi, and that's Nexus Frenzy now for Foresight. He's gonna go ham. We have Double Bolt of the Storm for Thrall, for Kel'Thas, and also Redemption plus Indestructible. They want to finish the game. The Punisher is already destroying the mid-keep. Made a bit of a detour, but we have NaVi on core now. They want to finish this, and it's a 5 versus 3 situation with the Punisher starting to move into it now as well. This, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be the 2-0 for NaVi against G2 Esports. GG, and well played. NaVi takes it without dropping a map.